in between the lines where nothing is out of bounds, as adversity is an opportunity to adjust and overcome. We're your host, Savon Williams. I got my brother to the right of me, Joe Ham. We just completed our first round of NFL playoffs. What's your thoughts on the NFL Wildcard weekend?
Roger Goodell, the NFL commissioner, everybody involved in putting the wild card together, everybody involved in expanding to 7 teams. You remember it used to be 6 teams. Vaughn, it's been all it cracked up to be until last night, which was Sunday night, when we had the Patriots against the Los Angeles
Rant.
Chargers.
Yeah, Chargers.
Uh,
Chargers. Yep.
yeah, that was not a game that came down to the fourth quarter. Tonight, the Texans blew out the Pittsburgh Steelers, 2 defensive touchdowns late. Aaron Rodgers looked a shell of himself. They could not protect him. That might be his last hurrah as far as playing another game in the National Football League. But that's what I got out of the whole entire wild card weekend, Vaughn, is that no matter what you think of teams in the regular season, no matter how they got in, you and I talked about it extensively about, the Carolina Panthers being in with a below 500 record. But boy, they gave the Los Angeles Rams all they could have. And every time you get into the playoff, that your slate is wiped clean. It's wiped clean
Right.
in any given Sunday, and especially if you're at home and they hosted a playoff game. So, Vaughn, 4 out of the 6 games in this wild card weekend and Monday night, last night, tonight, 4 of those 6 games, the winning drive was scored under 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Under 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter. So if you're a football savant, if you're a guy that want to see fourth quarter games and you don't have a dog necessarily in the fight to be rooting for, that's what you want. And we got all of it. And it got me thinking, Vaughn, who's my coach of the year? Who's my MVP? Now, my MVP is only coming down to 2 guys, quarterbacks, Matthew Stafford and Drake May. But my goodness, how many people you can name to try to come up with your coach of the year? And I know the playoffs doesn't be taken into consideration. What you did after the 17 games don't count. But man, I've been very, very pleased about how this playoff outcome and the competition and hard hitting, man, has been going on.
Well, and I don't know if we should wait till the next episode or if you want to go ahead and discuss who you do have for MVP before we dive into the wild. Can we get into it now?
Yeah, it's no problem because they can do a lot of Hayes in the barn. They're ready to rock.
Regular season is over, so
regular season is over. So, although Matthew Stafford kind of tailed off at the end, I think games probably 15, 16, and even game number 17, he kind of threw a lot of picks. It wasn't as sharp. But when you look at an MVP, Vaughn, you got to look at the totality of your resume from game 1 to game 17. Did you win your division? Does that count? I don't know. It's all about the numbers. But are you that much valuable to your team? And it's a close race. And I have to give it to Matthew Stafford, although I am very, very impressed with Drake May. And what Drake May has shown us is exactly what coaching can do. Exactly. Gerard Mayo, who was the head coach of the New England Patriots last year, he was overwhelmed. That was his first time being a head coach. He could not get Drake May to maximize his potential, although he was a rookie. It didn't look the same. To where a point where a lot of people were saying, maybe Drake May wasn't the top 5 pick. Maybe he's going to be a bust. All of a sudden, you get Michael, a CEO type of coach. He doesn't call his plays, but he's got his hand on all aspects of the team. And he went and hired one of the most important hire for the New England Patriots, Josh McDaniels. If you don't know about Josh McDaniels won at least 4 Super Bowls with Tom Brady. He was the orchestra of that offense. Now, he failed as a head coach with Denver Broncos. He failed as a head coach with the Los Angeles. That isn't like a ball in a place. No one call those plays at the time. So, in a close battle, I'm going Matthew Stafford or Drake May. And I'll give you another, Vaughn. How many how many All-Pros do you think Matt Stafford has won?
All pros.
all pros, and there's a difference.
In NFL, how many?
This is his 17th year.
You got to think all of the years Brady was on top. All the years, all the years Lamar Jackson won MVP, and then we got Josh Allen just MVP. No year I would say he was better than any of them. So unless it's like second team All Pros, how many All Pros do
that
they
counts?
They
Just
got
second, no, first and second.
So with that being said, I didn't even mention Peyton Manning,
Yep.
Drew Brees.
Drew Brees.
So this might be his first year All Pro.
Well done, brother. First, I was
See how I
taking
break
it back.
that down?
Yeah, you broke it down the right exact way because that's how you got to look at it. Don't you know that Russell Wilson has never won one at all, and he's a Hall of Famer in my opinion. So it goes back to the category of who's in the league at your time. Time is everything. Time is to look at Drew Brees.
More.
Same era. With the Tom
Yeah,
Brady,
but
the big man,
so
those guys.
Wait. But did Drews won MVP 1 year?
No, he didn't.
He didn't win MVP?
He won offensive MVP. I mean, the offensive player of the year.
And
But
he
Drew Brees doesn't have.
he wasn't All Pro that same year?
Man, you had to deal with Tom Brady and Peyton Manning
Man.
all the time.
But how do you win Offensive Player of the Year and you not All Pro?
But they was trying to give him something. If you look up Drew Brees has no All Pros
No, that's
at all.
I have to disagree, brother. Stat show he got one.
You seen it now?
2006. Look at the
one.
screen. 2006.
No, not Pro Bowls now.
No, this
not
doesn't
Pro
say
Bowls.
Pro Bowls. This says first team All Pro 2006, second team All Pro, 4 of them. Not total All Pro selections, 5. He got 13 Pro Bowls, but he was NFL Offensive Player of the Year 2 years, 2008 and 2011. 2006, he was first team All Pro.
Oh, so he's got a lot. So I'm gonna stick. Okay, shout out to you, Drew Brees. My bad on you, Drew. My bad on you, Drew.
Now,
bad on.
now, what you said in regards to, but again, because I knew he was up there in regards to Offensive Player of the Year, which he won Offensive Player of the Year 2 years in a row. So I would think those would have been the years that he was first, but he only got one first team All Pro.
But he doesn't have an MVP though, right?
No, I don't see no MVP. So
Yeah. I didn't know Drew Brees had. Okay, yeah, and rightfully so because he's an outstanding player. But it just goes, even Troy Aikman. When you go back to those guys that has rings and those guys that did a lot. That's why I don't necessarily get caught up in the Pro Bowls because the Pro Bowls is votes that a third with the fans, a third with your players, and then a third with the media. That can be kind of tainted a little bit. But when you just do those guys are really intact watching game, and you can only fill up with 2 of them, it's hard to get. That's why I've been pros. I mean, all games, you probably got all profiles before you can get to that realm. So
like what you was alluding to though, with Matt Stafford earned his first career first team All Pro this year, 2025, out of 17 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
And it just I had a conversation. I don't want it to veer because we talking about the elite of the elitist quarterbacks. I was told, and this is just baffling, but sometimes the Atlanta Falcon fans are absolutely ridiculous. But I want to ask you, what's your thoughts? Who's the best quarterback in the NFC South?
Now?
Right now, who the best quarterback in the NFC South?
Bryce Young, Baker Mayfield, Michael Penix, or you say Kirk Cousins, and then we go to Tyler Shaw, Baker Mayfield.
I can't disagree, but I looked today. It was Kirk Cousins. I would say Kirk Cousins, and he was up there. Cousins was better than Kirk was better quarterback. Jalen Hurts, and Jay Hurts to a fast. He said he said Kirk Cousins was best in the NFC South. Bitch, I can't knock that because NFC South is terrible. Baker Mayfield, you would think, but Baker started off and went.
You asked a question. I had to say something. I mean, Vaughn, you have so many bullets in that gun. When he was talking about Kirk Cousins, definitely about or against Jalen Hurts. Even Baker Mayfield. Remember, Kirk Cousins is the guy that got benched.
No,
I mean, what is he talking about? I mean, what are you talking about, guy? But Kirk Cousins got benched, and before he had Achilles knee with Minnesota, yes, he was having a spectacular season. But you're talking about a Kirk Cousins that you can't put the postseason record say he's done well there. And for recent prime time games, as far as Sunday night football, Thursday night football, Monday night football, He hasn't been good. So where? If he's looking at total yards, then that guy, I have to ask you to pull his card. Next time he says like that, ask his card and say, I need it from you. Because there's no way. There ain't that Kirk. No. And how many Jalen Hurts come up?
Wally Winston is a Cardinals fan. I had to send a check for him today. I asked him, I was checking on him. All the Eagles. I know we got to get into the playoffs. I said, how the off season feel? And then he buttled it. DJ jump in and say, well, they landing in Cancun right now. And so,
that's funny.
That's funny.
That's
you
good.
know how Jalen Hurts stats has not been always there, but they've been winning.
Right.
Regardless, they've been finding ways to win. And for some reason, a lot of people will discredit, and this goes back to championships.
Mm-hmm.
The way I was raised, and I had to tell them straight up like this. I said, listen, man, I grew up on winning. You grew up on hope. You a Falcons fan. You hope they gonna be better next year. You ain't never experienced the championship parade. So I can understand your method of, championships is a team. Your championships is a team accomplishment, and that don't make you a better quarterback because you got a championship. And then he would always say, well, would you say Dan Marino, or would you say Jalen Hurts better than Dan Marino? And I said, now you mix up, like you alluded to, Joe. I had to pull up the stats. In 14 years, Kirk Cousins got 1 playoff win, 3 playoff losses. In 14 years, he only been to the playoffs 4 times. You know the time that and Marley brought this to my attention. You know the time that Kirk Cousins won that playoff game?
No. Was it in Washington?
We weren't even supposed to be going over this, but
it's okay, man. It's in between the lines.
This is Kirk Cousins won the game.
Like that?
Huh?
Is that what he said?
Yeah, that is when he said that. But check this out. What's going on here? I'll be pulling it up, but check it out. This Minnesota.
Oh, that's I want that.
It's about how lucky that was. How lucky is that to win a ring, to win a game that way? Is my point. Okay.
On a Hail Mary that you blindly threw it.
So I say all that to say that's the one playoff win here. Because Kirk Cousins got however many yards he got, because he like of the great Jalen Hurts or Lamar Jackson. Then I told him, if I give me the Hurts, because I need a glitch. And you can't discredit the champion. And you can't say Jalen got a Super Bowl MVP. He wasn't a riding the bus driver. He played better than when he lost. And anybody that just say they wanted to hang hurt, you gotta look yourself in the mirror. Like I gotta tell DJ, you gotta look yourself in the mirror. If you ain't with cheerleaders, Atlanta Falcons, and a lot of the other organizations, then you yourself and let down.
And it's always got to be subjective. I mean, it's not apples to apples. Because what are you doing going to get stuff? Like Caleb right now. Caleb say about him last year, and even though he might not be in the beginning, him stick around his run he's had go back to the on his balance area. Hard. He get the lead and will lead. Those are the types of that's what you're trying to do. Yes, he could has a good, but now we
he don't suppose this with even 14. We seen the one win that they had the vehicle. He should be wearing the playoff. But one playoff win. Tim Tebow. And guess what? My Tim Tebow he had 1 playoff win. That means he has the count. But even Hurts has never been best player, top 5 player quarterback in the league. When he got drafted, he wasn't even the best quarterback in the draft, because he got drafted the same time as Robert Griffin III, RG3. So I said, even in college, Kirk Cousins wasn't no standout. So I would rather be Tim Tebow, a champion in college, a Heisman, 2 championships in college, with 1 playoff win in only 3 years in the league. Kirk Cousins, not a franchise player, a franchise tag. He got made his money for sure.
That's the interesting take, Vaughn. So Vaughn Williams, that's the interesting take that, I'm going to totally side and 100% agree with you, because why I can talk to you about this, because you know how to, or you are willing to leave money aside. Because the minute somebody's going to tell us about the Tim Tebow career and Kirk Cousins career and what you would rather have, I'm with you. I would rather be a two-time national champion and a Heisman Trophy winner, one playoff win against the Steelers on a last-second walk-off to God bless the dead, a yellow jacket, Bay Thomas. I would rather that and right off into the sunset than Kirk Cousins. He just rack money.
He can
That's
make
all
it.
he does. I was not even going to say yes, but that's it. What do we know about Kirk Cousins? What has he done?
Dude, I was thinking why we spent so much time talking about Kirk Cousins, and I
Go
didn't.
ahead.
And I'm not talking about on this
Oh,
show. I'm talking
you
about
took-
with the
oh.
boys. But he kept on, and like I said, I had to realize, yeah, you ain't got it. He strongly used. He said, "I take Kirk Cousins. I take Kirk Cousins over Jalen Hurts. I take Kirk Cousins," and I'm like,
No. You know what's so much closer, Vaughn? What I'd rather do, you would have, if you surveyed 10 people, you would have 5 and 5. Who's the better quarterback between Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen? See, that's more of a comparison.
but see, they the same range. They in the same, and that's why if Josh Allen does not go to the Super Bowl this year, he should be getting the same blame that Lamar Jackson receives each and every year. Because guess what? They ain't got to go through Patty Mahomes.
Right.
So it's no excuse. We are going to talk about what Josh Allen was able to accomplish and do this weekend, but it's no kudos. I picked the Bills to win. You don't get no. You was expected to win against Jacksonville. You picked Jacksonville, but
yeah. See, I mean, Vaughn, again, I'm going off of, and kudos to you. You were going off of the Superman hero, Superman. Put the team on my back, put a cape on my back. Josh Allen is a better overall team. There's no way Josh Allen had everything. He certainly did. That was wrong. But then again, if he doesn't go all the way at least to the Super Bowl, I can't knock him for that and saying that he does criticism to where very few people can name 2 of his wide receivers. I mean,
same way I can't name 2 wide receivers for Kansas City Chiefs the last 2 years. Not name Travis.
You know Rice?
He been here.
Yeah, I know him. But you've heard of him, but he didn't put up the numbers. And Juju
on the Steelers and TikTok dances.
That's a good point. That's a good point,
man. That's what I'm saying. So if we're not giving, I can't tell you wide receiver Baltimore. I can tell you Zay Flowers, and that's it. I know D Hop is there.
Yeah, and you know Mark Andrews too dropped the pass. But see, Vaughn, I want you to do this. I want you to do this when you're talking about Patrick Mahomes and wide receivers. And you're absolutely right. But you can take away Travis Kelce for being a wide receiver and being a safe haven that from Patrick Mahomes didn't have anybody. He didn't have anybody like you're talking about, but a lot of people have Kelce over a number 1 wide receiver. So you can't almost say that. But he's got a Hall of Fame tight end with him now.
But we also can't act like Josh Allen didn't have Stephon Diggs during the time period as well. So he done had receivers before.
Yeah, but he's had better seasons and he's had his MVP seasons without him.
That's fine.
But he played
to win the
MVP
game.
with no name wide receivers. He won the MVP last year with Keon Coleman, who had 1,000 drops. But that's neither here nor there. No, all I'm saying is that, and you're right, the same stratosphere that is very debatable between Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen, but it's not debatable between Kirk Cousins and Jalen Hurts.
No, that's no brainer. Anybody with a functioning brain, like I said, shout out to you, boy, you crazy. But let's get into the most game just occurred. We got the Houston Texans, and Joe, I want you to discuss what happened. I think the first half was much closer than the end score. What's your thoughts on the Steelers giving up
Uh,
30 at home and only putting up 6 points? That mean they weren't able to score a touchdown all game. Uh, just talk about that.
well, you would have to watch the game like I did, Vaughn, to say what I'm about to say.
Um,
I want you to look at this, Vaughn. You're right, but look at this as well. Look at third down. Okay, look at that defense. Pittsburgh's got one. I think they had two third down versions. And Pittsburgh won the turtle battle. They won the turtle battle, and they still couldn't get anything accomplished. But the better team won, and there's no doubt about that. And I don't think we can say that throughout the entire playoffs in the wildcard weekend that happened. But tonight, the better team absolutely won in the Houston Texans on the road in a hostile environment. That's what you can tell. And matter of fact, and we'll get into it. So I made the fourth team this weekend. They're 4 out of the 6 games. I mean, 4 games out of the 6 games this wild card weekend, the road team won. So that's saying a lot about to be able to go on the road.
home cooking as you to the playoffs.
Not home cooking because look at it. This is,
Had no advantage. Let's get it in.
I'll let you go with that. I don't think that the have home field type advantage.
Think about what we playing. Playing session. I think that matters.
Those are 2 teams that they're at home with. Panthers. I was very disappointed in the fact that the Eagles also home turf.
And we want to get about the Pats and Chargers.
Yeah.
Beat the Chargers coming from the side. I believe that they come and beat New England. I felt like New England's on defense like you already alluded to. Is an MP contender. And Patriots handled business, showing that defense was ferocious, and offensively they did what needed to be done. Game 16-3. What was your thoughts as Justin Herbert only had 159 yards the entire game?
I could not believe that Justin Herbert and that offense for the Chargers couldn't get anything going. Now I understand their right tackle is season early in the season, and their left tackle has been going early on the season for the entire season. But to not generate any offense at all, shout out and a lot of credit goes to Mike Vrabel and his defense, but they have been building an overall team. Out of the Drake plays to be able to do his mind range out of that place into a good place. His accuracy is something to be talked about. But the way this team is being built from the trenches, you remember Milton, defensive tackle, dominated this last year for Philadelphia Eagles. Now he's the anchor of that New England Patriots defense. Gonzalez at cornerback is an outstanding corner, one of the best in the NFL. So as an overall team, it reminds me of that same New England Patriots team that jogged out there in 2001 maybe or 2000, all as a team when they was playing the greatest show on turf, the St. Louis Rams. And they didn't have many superstars. I think Ty Law was the superstar, so to
Rodney
speak.
Harrison.
Right, Vrabel was on that team, but they didn't have a lot of household names.
On that
But they were
offensive side of the field, they had Deion
Right.
Branch at receiver, Kevin
Yeah.
Faulkner the running back. Yep.
They would do it all kind of stuff. Is that the team that actually played the wide receiver at DB at time? I forgot the
That's
wide
Deion
receiver's
Branch.
name. No. It was the wide receiver that played also on defense.
Played corner.
You sure it was Deion Branch? I thought his name. It was somebody else as well.
Let me see.
Yeah,
That's a
but
good,
so
yeah.
that's what they remind me of, and they very seldom beat themselves. So a team like that's gonna uh, eat up the time of possession. They're gonna win the penalties game. They're gonna have less penalty than you. They're not going to have pre-snap penalties.
Uh, fingernail Williams, I'm gonna call him finger paint because fingernail he getting a little bit more respect with every playoff win. Finger paint Williams is right there with him already with just one playoff win. I think Justin Herbert. I think Trevor Lawrence.
Well, he's already tied with them.
No, that's what I'm saying. He
So
in his second season
yeah,
is already. So however good y'all like to say that Lawrence and Herbert is, Caleb Williams is already tied it with the
and
possibility to take the next step this weekend against the LA Rams.
oh man, great point, Vaughn. And I'm sorry because I should be able to point my finger on it, but I can't. I still don't know what the it factor is. But all I can tell you is that Caleb Williams, he has it.
Oh,
And at this point, Justin Herbert does not. And
no,
at this
neither
point,
does
Trevor
Trevor
Lawrence
Lawrence.
does not either. So I don't know what that it is. I can't tell you, but those two quarterbacks have not shown it that when the game is on the line, when things come down to it, can you put the ball in my hand? Did you see that throw that Caleb Williams made the other night, man?
Listen,
On
man,
fourth down and 15?
Caleb
My
Williams, Caleb Williams. I said he was this era's uh, Aaron Rodgers, and shout out to Gat because Gat say no, he John Elway, and I cannot. I take it. Caleb Williams, I like to call him finger paint Williams, is him. He. I'm telling you now. I told them after the win. I said Caleb Williams is the top three quarterback that's in the playoffs. This is before. This was after they beat Green Bay, and now everybody in my group chat say, "Oh, Green Bay, they was going. Green Bay been hurt. Green Bay." Caleb Williams make throws that can't none of the other quarterbacks you just named do. Caleb
right.
Williams is a gunslinging, don't care.
Mm-hmm.
And think about this, Joe.
Don't
He
care. Yeah.
making those throws in Chicago. The
Ooh, the wind,
wind,
windy city,
the, Caleb
windy
Williams
city. Yeah.
is the best quarterback. Shout out to Jay Cutler, because I don't want to discredit Jay Cutler. But when it's all said and done, Caleb Williams will be the greatest quarterback to come out of Chicago.
Yeah, I can't do anything with that, Vaughn. I can't do anything, and I don't even think that's necessarily is a great take, but I don't think it's a hot take because I have to agree.
But we saying that
Um,
we saying that year two, so it's early. he got
But you
work
say
to
that
do.
year too. It's saying that year too. But I have to go back to what I always go back, and you know me by now. What I'm gonna go back to is that coaching matters. We weren't saying that last year. Although he was a rookie, we saw some things. We said he's dropping back too fast, too long, or too deep, or too uh, 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 striding too much. He's overthrowing it. The game is too fast. He's holding on to the ball too long. He's a cowboy out there. He's trying to make every play heroic. No, 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 no. All of a sudden, Ben Johnson came over from the Detroit Lions, and he straightens that out right away. Same thing will happen with your guys in the New England Patriots. Mike Vrabel and Josh McDaniels came in and straightened that right away. And I guess that's going to lead us to the Bears and Packers game in Vaughn. That was an outstanding game.
Yeah.
But for the moxie of a quarterback in a team that led the NFL in turnovers, creating turnovers, their turnover margin was the best in the NFL. Opportunistic defense that they get timely picks. Seven, Vaughn. This is a crazy stat. 7 of their victories came on game-winning touchdowns that was under 2 minutes. 7, and that's not even talking about the playoffs. 7 victories for the Chicago Bears came with under 2 minutes left in scoring a touchdown. So what happened in the wild card against the Packers wasn't a surprise to anybody. But I didn't think they can continue to do that. So when a team shows you that they can get the ball back for their offense, when a team shows you that their quarterback, no matter how many picks he throws, that he's not going to get rattled, he's going to be in the game at the end. He's deadly accurate with a great arm, and great athleticism. And shout out to I think his Ryan Bowles is the GM. I'm thinking. For going out and doing what he did. They went to Kansas City and got Joe Thuney, a right guard. They went to Atlanta, where he's a free agent, and got the center from Atlanta to make sure you show up that offensive line. Roma Dunze, you know about that. DJ Moore, you know about him. You know about the weapons he's got on the outside. You know about DeAndre Swift, who they made and went out and got from Detroit. Yeah, and they went out and got from Detroit. So they're building this thing the right way. So that's a team on the up and up. And I love it. I love it. You almost wonder when it was happening during the season, Vaughn, when is this luck going to run out? When is this going to stop happening? You playing with house fire, being down 15 points, being down 10 points, and thinking you're going to come back. But they're making a believer out of me, man. They're making a believer out of me. And now it goes back to Green Bay Packers, where the rumors are that Matt LaFleur might not be coming back. What's the ceiling there? And he's not coming back because he's not a good coach. He's not coming back because they're in contract dispute. Mm-hmm. And he's not coming back because now in Green Bay, when Harbaugh got fired, you better watch out, because some teams with a good head coach, some teams that made it to the playoffs are going to say now, hey, are we sure we cool with our guy? And Harbaugh's out here? Are we sure we're going to just stay with this guy, or are we just settling? So I don't know about the Green Bay Packers' future. I know they dealt with a little bit of injuries throughout the season, including Micah Parsons. But all the credit and all the kudos goes to Chicago Bears defending their home field and being number 2. Now that's the number 2 seed. So so don't think anything was a fluke. That's the number 2 seed, Chicago Bears. That, I mean, if you're gonna win, they don't have to leave the Windy City until they have to go
the conference championship.
That's if Seattle gets there. If Seattle Seahawks gets there. So that's not going to be an easy out. The Chicago Bears, they are not an easy out.
Well, and let me ask this: they was up 20. They was up what?
21-3 at half.
21-3 at half, and then 21-6 going into 15, the fourth.
Yes,
giving up a 15-point lead in the fourth quarter. That could very well be the reason that they ready to part ways with Coach LaFleur.
Yeah,
but also when you were saying that you think that the Bears, it's almost like how long can they do it? to do a comparison in the NBA, the Indiana Pacers last year. How many times did Tyrese Halliburton hit a game winner and you
Yeah.
thinking like, man, yeah, they good, but we ain't expecting them to beat this. Yeah, they good, but we ain't expecting them to get past New York. Yeah, they
Yeah.
good, but and then for it to come down to we didn't get to see it in the finals with Halliburton tearing his Achilles in whatever game of the finals that was. That was brutal to
Yes.
see. But
That was brutal.
those two teams, it just goes to show if you let them stick around, they are extremely dangerous because not that they have hope, but they got belief. It's two different things. When you got belief, when you got faith that you can come back regardless because you got a leader that you know is not shying away from the moment, the whole team is going to be confident. Let me do
That's
my part.
huge.
Let me do my part. Let me make sure that I'm not the reason that we don't advance. Because if I let Finger Paint Williams get the ball one last drive, you can guarantee he gonna go down swinging. Shout out to Coach Ben Johnson for that fake screen slip, and shout out to DJ Moore for he dropped the pass maybe two plays before then, and then he caught the second one with his body and made sure he brought it in. It was such a wonderful game. Great game. 31-27. The Bears beat Green Bay. And so you went ahead and spoke about this one, and we gonna get into it. The upset, because I was I think I was 4-2 this weekend. The upset was clear as day. The 49ers beating the Eagles 23-19, coming to Philadelphia. Man, another one of those games where Jalen Hurts, 168 yards. Saquon Barkley did eclipse the 106-yard mark. But just looking at some of these team stats, Joe,
Terrible.
you know, first downs even, third downs around the same range. So it was a battle. It wasn't like any of the game. Well, Chicago was a battle as well, but Brock Purdy found a way. But let's look at AJ Brown, 3 catches, 25 yards on 7 targets. With this upset and loss, and Philadelphia finished the season 11-7. Now, anybody from Philadelphia would tell you that they are this dominant team, defending champs, which that they were, and that they are still currently. 11-7 seem a bit average to me, and that offense has been below average all year. And I say this, and I said this to all my fam and friends that's Philly lovers. The things you put up with in a win, or the things you tolerate in a win, is the things that tick you off in a loss. And AJ Brown and all of that pouting, when they was winning, when they were Super Bowl champions, he still wasn't happy. And now you try and get him targets only for him to drop the ball when they need him. Is it time for the Philadelphia Eagles to move on from A.J. Brown so they can focus on their offense with the players that they can, they can acquire some players if they need to move from him? Is he, because they tried to say T.O. was a cancer, but it just seems like A.J. Brown, because it was another sideline spiel between him and head coach Sirianni. Is it time for them to move on?
No, yes, it's time for them to move on, Vaughn, because of his antics, but they can't because of a $46 million cap hit if you cut him or you try to trade him. So, if you cut him, you can't move on. However, I don't know if he's a cancer, because with that same cancer, unlike T.O., they won a championship now, okay? So you have to take that in consideration. Or maybe can it be one of those situations, Vaughn, that where he wasn't griping or he wasn't selfish as far as being that where's my targets when they were winning, and still having his his weekly talk with the media and selling guys under the bus and not being and reading the books on the sideline last year and all those type of things. Maybe he was doing it for this time. Maybe he was doing it for the wild card weekend against the 49ers, to where our offense is very vanilla. Maybe he was doing it to say, hey man, guys, when are we going to get more creative?
But
When are we going to run
you
more?
should be doing that in the film
Locker room.
room, in the locker
Yes, sir.
room.
Yeah.
You shouldn't
There's
be.
yeah.
He's done it time and time again. Whether you talking about throwing the coach under the bus, throwing your quarterback under the bus, it's everybody's fault but his.
Yeah.
And I'm so
But
tired of
Vaughn,
the deal.
not but Vaughn, I would just ask you, where could you point a distraction that he was to that? Maybe he was a distraction to himself, because I held up three fingers. He had three drops. He had three drops in the game against the 49ers and a couple crucial drops. So you want more targets, and we give you more targets, and you didn't capitalize. And that's to your point. If you're going to be loud and you're going to have me and Vaughn and everybody else know that you griping about touches and you griping about catches, and then all of a sudden, if you had been quiet, we wouldn't have known you've been doing that. We would just treat it as another drop or another bad game. But the fact that you complained after every win and you weren't happy after every win because you wanted your numbers, and you even said one time that I look at all the other wide receivers in the National Football League, and I'm not paying it out. Look at my numbers and look what I'm getting paid. It was an underachievement. It was an underachievement. Kevin Patullo, the different offensive coordinator, he has to go, because that is a talented team.
Right.
Goddard, Saquon Barkley, Devontae Smith, Heisman Trophy, top 10 pick, A.J. Brown, massive offensive line, Jalen Hurts is just a very, very good leader in that defense. And that's why it's so disappointing, I guess, for a Philadelphia Eagles fan, is when you look at that defense, is just lights out. Lights out with that defense. They do so much up front. Cooper DeJean and then Quinyon Mitchell in that secondary. They do a lot. N'Kobe Dean being a linebacker, Nolan Smith, those Georgia Bulldogs that's on that team now, Jalen Carter. That's a very, very good defense. And to come up this short and lose in the wild card round, they can't be happy with that season. But with that said, and I think that A.J. Brown, if it wasn't Vaughn for him, then that's such a huge salary cap hit, or salary cap hit. I think that A.J. Brown might say, hey guys, we better off just moving on without him, because he is a somewhat of a locker room cancer. He brings unwanted questions to his other teammates about his feelings. And you just had a spat on the sideline with a coach and cursed him out because you wouldn't get off the field in a timely manner. All he wanted you to do is get off the field and hurry up because we didn't want a penalty, right? But Vaughn, but with all that being said, and we're factual about that, Coach of the Year should go to Kyle Shanahan. Coach of the Year, and I know the playoff doesn't matter, but I know Kittle's just went down in the second quarter, I think, of the game against the Philadelphia Eagles. But what he had to go through, man, and you remember now, they were playing the Seattle Seahawks on the last game of the season to see who had the number one overall seed.
Right.
Don't you know the people that they've lost, man? They lost George Kittle in this past game. They played 3 or maybe 4 games without Trent Williams, the all-world, future Hall of Fame left tackle. You lost Fred Warner, one of the all-time all-pros middle linebacker. You lost Nick Bosa, the defensive end. I mean, all-world. I mean, you lost a lot of this talented. You hadn't played with Brandon Ayuk. Come on. I mean, Ricky Pearsall, the other wide receiver you drafted out of Florida, to be able to make shift and to draw things in the dirt and to be creative and to use the talent that he has on the football team in different ways is just something to be talked about. And I know what he did in Atlanta with the 28-3 and, blowing that Super Bowl. I know when he went to Super Bowls and against Kansas City, he blew a 10-point lead or a double-digit lead a couple times. I understand all that. But my God, man, that football mind, to be able to set plays up for the next drive, to be able to set plays up for the first quarter. I mean, from the first quarter to the fourth quarter, it's just something beautiful to watch, man. You saw that guy get Christian McCaffrey, who everybody's going to be eyeing. When you losing when you don't have anybody you can think about throwing the ball to because you're losing Kittle and all the other weapons, to get Christian McCaffrey still with over 120 all-purpose yards or scrimmage yards, it's just unbelievable, man. The play design is just through the roof. So I know you can't count that playoff victory as the coach of the year, and I know it might go or it should. Well, I wouldn't say who.
That's what I was about to say. You would take that over Ben Johnson in Chicago.
Well, I'm taking Vrabel over Ben Johnson.
Ah.
And then, Yvonne, you and I talked about it. Because, and to your point, you made me think a lot when we were talking about Kevin Stefanski, when we were saying that the reason why he won, when I was bringing it up to you, he's a 2-time coach of the year, and you were saying, and I digress. You said only reason is because there were no expectations.
There's no expectations. Yeah.
Yes.
That doesn't mean he was better coach than any other coaches that was number one seeds that year.
So I present a question to you then. So why are the 2 number 1 seeds? And I hadn't brought them up, and probably you would have on their mind. You might have them on your mind, but I said Vrabel, Ben Johnson. I agree with you, Kyle Shanahan. But why are we not bringing up Sean Payton? Because he's been there, done that. Because you expect him to be a great coach because he's a Super Bowl winner.
Well, honestly, I would. Sean Payton is obviously, his name should be up there, but like you said, because he's a Super Bowl winner. But who is Seattle's head coach? Because I know it ain't Pete Carroll.
Mike McDonald. Mike McDonald. This is his second year. He came over defensive coordinator for the Baltimore Ravens, and this is just his second year. So he's number 1. And this is his second year, not right now, and he's the number 1 seed. And they're not calling his name.
And this is his first year with Sam Darnold at quarterback, right?
First year, because Sam Darnold, yes, absolutely.
So everybody else has had their quarterback and head coach. Everybody else we just named. Bo Nick's gonna been with Sean Payton.
Except Vrabel. Drake May, though.
Drake May.
This Vrabel's first year in New England.
Well,
it's a close race, brother. It's a close race.
I would probably go that way, but just because the Bears was not picked to succeed any, they was saying that they was trying to call Finger Paint Williams a bust after his rookie season.
Yeah.
Now we calling him John Elway and the second coming of Aaron Rodgers. That's Ben Johnson.
Yeah.
So, and it can only be one coach. Like you gave the great example of the first team All Pros. It can only be one. But like you say, that shows what coaching does. And good coaches find a way to win. They find a way to scheme things up. They find a way to put their players in the best situation to survive and advance. So I'm expecting to looking forward to some more football.
I would even throw Vaughn that. I mean, just throwing things in the hat, man. It's just an unbelievable year for coaches, and especially first-time coaches. That's why I know it's the New York Jets. That's why a lot of people don't give Aaron and Glenn the benefit of the doubt that is his first year, because Liam Cohen. You know where Liam Cohen coaches at? He coaches in Jacksonville. Yeah, that's his first year.
Yeah.
I mean, so these coaches are getting there in their first year with just making the quarterback looks good. I mean, they look good, better. They're bringing in a culture. They're bringing in a scheme. They're doing things a little bit differently. So you're not getting the pass that you think you should be getting. Ben Johnson, just as we talked about, that's his first year ever being a head coach. So, I mean, we can't start giving out passes to everybody like, hey, we will give you time to get your guys in and get your quarterback, and then maybe you'll do something. Nah, you better try to hit the ground running, or those fans and the owners and the supporters, they're going to boo you off stage, brother.
What was the, I want to know, the Miss Lynn Turpin. Shout out to Lynn Turpin that gave that inspiring and motivating message to Liam Cohen after they lost. You heard it? Did you see that?
Yeah. So Vaughn, it's just so tough right now with AI.
So you're saying that you don't think that occurs?
I've never heard of anything occurring like that in a post game presser where somebody sits there and say you had a great season, hold your head up high. Don't. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. I
I'm not
haven't
doubting
heard that
it,
it
but I
was
didn't.
with you.
I've never heard that in a post game presser with any news beat writer congratulate somebody and not ask a question. I've never heard that ever, ever.
Giving kudos or
Yeah,
telling her it was inspiring, and I think that should be a way. And
I think that was AI generated, man.
man, listen to this. You taking away the fact that some people are human. Listen to this. It's AI generated. Ha.
Okay,
Listen to this.
How you doing today? Lynn Jones, Jacksonville Free Press News. I just want to tell you congratulations on your success, young man.
Thank
You
you.
hold your head up, all right? You guys have had a most magnificent season.
Thank
You did a great job out there today.
Appreciate
so you
it.
just hold your head up, okay?
Thank
and
you,
ladies
ma'am.
and gentlemen, Duval, you the one, all
Thank
right?
you, ma'am.
keep it going. We got another season, okay?
I appreciate
Take
it.
care and much continued success to you and the entire team.
Thank you, ma'am.
That's it. That's all, Joe. And that just goes to show you ain't gotta be
That's beautiful.
throwing
That's
people
beautiful.
under the bus after they lose. I hope some reporters take notes. And just so you know that it wasn't you the first one I've heard that said that was you thought that was AI because she was one of a kind. But this is a picture of her right here.
Yeah, she is one of a kind.
Look, this is her right here.
Could you believe your
This
comments
is the real person.
spawned that in an hour?
Well, think about it. It's probably been some less than that. I think everyone they're looking at it because you need something to talk about. So here we are, the Jaguars versus the Bills. But you're congratulating the losing team in a manner that takes up on this magnitude.
But the other shoe drops.
Mm-hmm.
Nationally,
Yes.
ESPN, all these national reporters are loving what you're saying.
Yes, yes.
But then you find there's others who weren't so happy.
Mm-hmm. I see that. Oh, I got some comments. This young lady, this is not no for a reporter, and a reporter shouldn't do this. And well, there are no rules, and you know that.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a set of rules for this? You tell me how long you've been a sportscaster. I'm asking you a question now.
Decades. And
Okay.
when they invite you in, you're there, and if you have the microphone, you can say what you want.
Ding, ding, ding. And I said what I wanted. And
Wow.
I have no qualms about it. The social I've interviewed, I was telling Melly, from Barack Obama to Terry Bradshaw to Tiger Woods. I've been in this sports arena a long time. In the media.
Could you
So
Wow.
that pretty much
Thanks for doing that, Vaughn. Thanks for doing that. I didn't think that was real, and the only reason I didn't think that was real, that was wholesome, and it was really, really good stuff. Because just like that other guy was saying to her, I've never heard anything like that before, and I've been in plenty of press conference. I've heard plenty of press conference. I've interviewed people in a press conference and been the guy that's getting interviewed. I've never heard somebody come and address somebody
uplift
without
you
a
after a
question.
loss.
Well, she didn't even have a question.
No, again, uplifting after a loss, and again,
My God,
and that goes
that's
to
good.
show that sometimes,
That's
you
really
know,
good.
even in defeat, you should be proud of the accomplishments and just to get there. Cause Jacksonville ain't been there in a long time, and like you said, being a first time coach, and that told me it just felt like
Everything she said was spot
It just
on.
felt like Auntie, cause that was my first time seeing her face, and if you didn't just see that face, you would have kept thinking that was AI, cause you never heard anything like that before. It
That's
sounds like
outstanding.
grandma just uplifting you from the heavens
Yes,
during the time where,
yes.
man, we just suffered a tough defeat. We took it all the way down to the last drive, lost, and I'm sure that was uplifting. And I really hope that the good Lord continue to bless this lady, and I hope other people
That's good,
look at
man.
this and say, you know what, I'm gonna do this instead of attacking the players all the time, instead of
Yeah.
attacking the coaches all the time, instead of blaming everybody. It's not always a blame game. Somebody got to win and somebody got to lose. But how we address it as media, and that was one thing, and of course, you know, we got to give out accountability, because sometimes it should be somebody blamed. When you got a Philadelphia Eagles team that has as much talent as they got, somebody got to take the blame. If your offense is incompetent to be able to put up 200 passing yards, it's somebody's fault when you got that many great players on the offensive side. But I just thought that was something special, and we flowing. And you the first one for me to hear that. That's AI.
I was wrong though. I was wrong though.
All the way.
No, I was wrong. But again, I've heard it a couple times, and I'm like, somebody's playing in the background.
Because you didn't see the face, and that was my first time seeing her face.
And I didn't see the face, and he was saying yes ma'am, like somebody was saying that. I mean, somebody was AI-ing him or artificial intelligence for him to say yes ma'am, but he was looking right at her, and I know that was Liam Cohen. I'm like, oh man, and for her to be, man, that's chill bumps, man, Vaughn. I'm telling you.